Welcome to Live Your Passion. I'm Alex Stephen, your host from Life Transforming Treasures. By sharing the wisdoms from my life journey of raising a successful and independent deaf child and making a life-altering decision, I empower people to transform their lives to one of freedom and fulfillment. On Live Your Passion, our guests shared their stories and wisdoms on how they embraced and overcame challenges, and hopefully you could get some wisdoms from their story to help you on your journey. I'm an author, a speaker, and a transformation coach. To help you in this discussion, I have free resources on my website at alexstephen.com. This morning I have a guest that's joining us that came all the way from California, Kathleen Kanavos. Welcome, Kat.
Thank you, Alex.
And you could tell us a little bit about yourself, a little background for the audience to know who you are.
Well, my name is Kathleen Kanavos, and I'm actually a 3-time breast cancer survivor. What makes my story a little different is that the medical community missed my cancer every single time, but my dreams told me it was there. So then my job was to go back to my doctors and work with them to help find the cancer so that I could be here today talking to you.
Yeah, and thanks so much for joining us. And we look forward to hearing your story, and the audience, I'm sure, will learn from what you'll share with us today. So if you could share with us a little bit, Kat, on the first time you found out that you had cancer, some of the emotions, what you were feeling, what you were thinking, so people in the audience could sort of relate to their experiences.
Well, when you first hear that you have cancer, Alex, you immediately think that you're going to die. Yeah. I mean, cancer used to be a death sentence. It's not anymore. And the second time I had it with the recurrence, it was stage 4 and 9 by 11 centimeters, which is terminal, and I'm still here. So it just goes to show you how far medicine has gone. Right. But also, I think it's important that our audience understand that we have a life purpose. We're here for a reason. Right. Even if our parents told us we just kind of happened in the back seat of the car, it's not true. We're here for a reason. And sometimes the crises that we go through is part of our purpose on the earth plane. Right. And so we have to kind of figure out what it is that's happening, why it's happening, how we can get through it. And one of the most important things for getting through any crisis is connecting with our higher power, connecting with our dreams, connecting with our spirit guides and our guardian angels. We're all born with them. We're their job, and they take that job really seriously.
Right. So tell us a little bit on how, your experience. I know you said, for lack of a better term, you were misdiagnosed. The medical community, your doctors said you did not have cancer. And was that on the 3 occasions, or was it just once?
No, it was all 3 times.
All 3 times?
Yeah, even though I had fantastic doctors and they were following me very, very closely, there's up to 30% of, and I'm just talking about women, who have cancer and they're not diagnosed. Right. And that's why it's so important that we listen to our bodies. Our bodies know everything that's going on with us. And so a lot of the ways that our bodies speak to us is in dreams at night and daydreams during the day. I don't know how many women I spoke to who said, I was just kind of gazing off at work and my hand just kind of went to my breast and then boom, there was this lump, and I had just had a mammogram. And they go back to their doctors, and their doctors go, wow, I don't know how that was missed, but yes, you're right. And I think it's important, Alex, that women realize that mammograms, MRIs, blood tests, nothing diagnoses cancer except a pathology report. So, we hear about women who went in for a mammogram and the doctor said, oh, well, you've got cancer, and had a mastectomy and found out it wasn't there. You know, anytime you have a question about your health, do the additional testing you need to do, even if it's just a needle biopsy on anything, find out what it really is.
Yes. So, I mean, what I hear you saying is not just take the expert's advice as the final.
Exactly.
You have to listen to your inner voice, your intuition, so to speak.
Your intuition is so important. That's why we were born with it.
Right. So we got to listen to that voice.
Yes.
And that's what you did. So if you could share with us, you know, the different instances, you know, some of the experiences you had, so the audience could get some feel for the process that you went through.
Well, it started out with you know, we go in for our yearly checkups, and if you're a woman, that includes mammograms. And there is a new trend happening with the 3D mammograms, which are basically another form of MRI, not quite as thorough as an MRI, but again, it still involves, you know, smashing things down, as it were. And that can be very dangerous if indeed you do have cancer in your breast, because it can cause it to break into milk ducts. So in my case, I went in for my mammograms. It didn't show anything, but then I started to have what I call recurrent dreams or recurrent nightmares. And a recurrent dream or nightmare means you're not getting it the first time, so it's happening over and over again. And we probably all have those in our lives where we go, oh my gosh, I had that nightmare again, I had it again, I had it again. And it's because you didn't figure out what the message was. And so in my case, I kept having a recurrent nightmare where a spirit guide, dressed like a monk, actually walked into my dream and said, you have breast cancer. And in one instance, they actually took my hand and put it on my breast and said, do you feel that? And in the dream, I said, yes. And my guide said, you go back to your doctor tomorrow and tell him you need exploratory surgery. And this was after I'd already had this dream like 3 times. So I started crying in the dream. And I said, but my doctors aren't listening to me. If you want me to live, you need to help me. And my guide reached into his pocket and he took out this little white feather and he handed it to me. And he said, this is an angel feather. If you go back to your doctor tomorrow and you use this feather as though it's a sword and you verbally fence with him using this sword, you'll get the exploratory surgery you need and they'll find the cancer. So I did, Alex. I went back to my doctor and I said, I need exploratory surgery. And he looked like somebody had shot him. He says, I can't do that. You know, I can't just cut you open because you want me to. And I imagined that feather from my dreams, from my spirit guide. And I imagined pointing it at him. And I said, you have to help me. I don't know where else to go. I don't know who else to turn to. And it was like somebody just waved a magic wand over him. And he said, okay. And he went out and he made the appointment. And the pathology report confirmed my dream. I was in stage 2 breast cancer with it in my lymph node. That's how important our dreams are. That's how important it is for us to be on our path, our purpose in life, and our guides are going to make sure we stay on it.
But we have to know and probably train ourselves on how to, you know, listen to that message and work with our guides.
Not that much. I really, you know, I've always been a really big dreamer, but it's when you're in crisis, and we were talking about crisis before, when you're in crisis and you don't even know it, all of your guardian angels, all of your spirit guides, people who have crossed over who are your loved ones, they come to your rescue, and you start having these recurring nightmares, even if you never used to remember your dreams. And they keep saying, do this, because a nightmare is a call to action. And suddenly you're going, you know, I never dreamed before. I never remembered my dreams before. And now all of a sudden, I'm having the same dream every single night. What's up with that?
Right.
Well, what's up is you need to remember it. It's a call to action. And that's what happened with me. I wasn't really a big dreamer. I didn't write my dreams down. I didn't really remember my dreams. But when my life was threatened, boom. There was no ignoring them. They would not be ignored, is the only way to describe it.
So in that time, they become stronger because they're trying to help you. So they come, like you said, recurring.
Yes.
They come over and over because they want to help you. So for the audience, the benefit of the audience, what is some of the advice you'll tell them in terms of your experience in communicating with your spirit guides? Like you said that you believe that came from the divine. And to help you. So share with them some of the ways that you developed that, you know, from your first time, second to third time with cancer. Now, you know, you have this relationship. So, I mean, I dream a lot, but I don't really interpret my dreams. Some of them I have an idea from my grandparents telling you, if you dream this, this will happen, and I see that happening. But I dream a lot. You talk about daydreaming. I do that. I'll be doing my work and I go off on a different, you know, and I was like, wow, and I got to come back. So how could people develop this and, you know, for the purposes of helping themselves, because the spirit guides want to help you?
They do.
Yeah, so you have to do your part.
You do. You're right. You're absolutely right. You have to do your part. So it's sort of like, Alex, you know, when you're raising children, and I know you have children, and you say, you know, don't do this instead, because this will get you the result you want. And your child ignores you, doesn't listen to what you're saying. And so you keep telling the child, do this, and the child keeps ignoring you. Finally, you quit talking to them, you know, because you're wasting your time. It's the same thing with your guides. When they come into your dreams and they say, go back to your doctor, or do this, or do that, or go see this person, or watch for a Robert. You know, you get this information in the dreams. When you start writing them down, the dreams down, and you start doing what your guides tell you, all of a sudden you're rewarding them. You've rewarded your guides, just like when you finally do what your parents tell you, they go, oh my goodness, they're finally doing what I told them to do after all these years. They're finally listening to me. It's a reward to your parents, and then your parents start giving you more information to keep you from getting speeding tickets, from, you know, breaking up with your friends, stuff like that, because they've been through it. And our guides have lived many lives. They've had many masters. So by actually writing down your dreams and becoming closer with your guides, you reward them, and now they want to help you even more so that you can fulfill your life purpose. And as we were talking earlier, you know, if you want to actually connect with your guides, it's as easy as just saying, guides, I want to connect with you. Set out that intention at night before you go to sleep. I always do meditations at night before I go to sleep. I always say my prayers before I go to bed at night. I always surround myself in mirrored white light that only allows information the guides bring in to come into my dreams. So I never have to worry about anything that's going to hurt me coming into my dreams. And so our audience today can do the same thing. Just imagine your spirit guide giving you a beautiful wand. Mine happens to be a dandelion. And I just surround myself with mirrored light. And I tell my guides, only bring that which is of the highest and best for me into my dreams, and you bring it in, and anything that is not of the highest and best will be reflected back from wherever it came from, and it's not going to touch me. It's not going to be a part of my life. And then I know that if I get any information in my dreams from my guides, it's right on.
It's right on.
I don't have to worry. They're not going to let anything evil or not of the highest and best for me to touch me in any way. And you can do the same thing.
Yeah, because you go to bed with that intention, and you talk about meditating, you talk about praying, and you know, one of the things I do is, you know, a gratitude list, a gratitude tool that I tell people what I'm grateful for. I do it at night. I may not write it down, but I do it in my mind, the things I'm grateful for. You know, and we're not perfect in this life, but we try, you know, all we could do is try, take action. And there are times when you have to forgive people and forgive yourself too. Don't be too hard on yourself. And you want to go to bed with that peace.
Absolutely. And to forgive is freedom. As soon as you forgive somebody else, you forgive yourself for the feelings that you had, and that's like a freedom. And I always say, you know, when I was going through cancer and I was upset at times, and I would go to bed at night and I'd have a little pity party, you know, oh, poor me. And then I remembered, you know, instead of counting sheep to fall asleep, because sometimes you can't fall asleep when you got all that going on in your head, count your blessings.
Count your blessings.
And fall asleep in that state of grace, that positive feeling. And it pulls your self-esteem up. All of a sudden you feel good.
You feel good. And, you know, going back to forgiveness, I think as Nelson Mandela said, is, you know, when you hold on to resentment, it's like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die.
That's true.
The only person getting hurt is yourself. The other person doesn't even know what's going on. I know people who still hold in resentment for their parents who have been dead for decades. And, you know, I ask, what is that doing to them? You are the person being affected. So freedom is really, when you forgive, it helps you. And I tell people forgiveness is free. You don't have to pay for it. You could get in a state of forgiveness, you know, get into meditation, pray, you know, whatever works for you. But I wanted to ask you for the benefit of the audience, because when people hear praying at night, meditating, getting intention, they're like, oh, I don't have time for this. I have a busy day. So share with them how much time you think it'll take, or, you know, how much time you take to do it for it to be effective.
Well, you know, we're all so busy, and I'm really busy. I wrote my Surviving Cancerland book. I'm finishing up 3 other books. I have my radio show. So I don't have time during the day to actually sit down and meditate, although I should. So what I do is, you have to go to sleep at night. So kind of put them together. You know, you've already got that space. It's quiet. The lights are off. And I start to meditate. I do the same meditation I just told you about. And then I actually realign my chakras. And then if I fall asleep during any of that time, which I am hoping I will, I fall asleep in a state of grace. And I fall asleep in a meditative state. And that's really important, Alex, for opening your doors and windows to the dream world.
Right.
Now your guides, you're on the same level with them. You're in that room between realms, that meditative room or that prayer room. And they can bring that information into you, and you know it's safe. So that's why I do it. I received some of my best information right after I'd fall asleep at night, or just before I'd wake up in the morning. And I would write it down in my dream journal. And during the day, sometimes I wouldn't even know that I had a dream until I would start to daydream, like you were talking about. And daydreams are doorways into our night dreams. So in our audience, if you're shaking your head going, but I don't dream, you dream, you don't remember them, but your daydreams can help you get there. They can open the doors to your night dreams. And I always say that when you're daydreaming during the day, your mind is taking off to the beach at the ocean of gnosis. Let it go. It's going to collect all kinds of information and bring it back and help you problem solve.
And talking about problem solve, I know you spoke about lucid dreams and changing your past. You want to share with the audience a little bit?
Certainly, I love lucid dreams. Lucid dreams are one of the few dreams where you can actually change your past. And let me give you an example of a client of mine. She called me up and she said, I keep having this recurrent lucid nightmare, and I'm not going to go to sleep anymore. I haven't slept in 2 weeks, and my health is failing, and my husband and I are talking divorce, but I don't care. I've had it. I am not going to sleep. And I said, well, Linda, tell me the dream. And she said, well, I will be sitting in my TV room watching TV with my husband on the couch, and it's at night. And all of a sudden, there's a knock at the door. And I know who it is, and I say to my husband, no, don't answer the door. But he jumps up, and he goes over, and he opens the door, and in walks my father. And he looks at me, and he says, Linda, I love you. And she says, I scream and wake up. Every single time I scream and wake up. And I said, well, why are you screaming and waking up? What is it about your father that scares you? She says, you know, he was never around when he was alive, and now he's showing up now that he's dead. And I said, so you're screaming because he scares you, he's dead? She says, no, I'm screaming because he's making me so angry. How dare he show up now and tell me he loves me? She said, and I said, and you don't love him? And she says, no, I can't stand him. I'm glad he's dead. And I said, well, really, somewhere deep down inside Linda, the little girl who's daddy's little girl still loves daddy, or daddy would not be showing up. And she said, well, I want him to stop showing up. What do I do? And I said, the next time there's the knock at the door, I want you to get up, answer the door, and when you see him, I want you to say, Daddy, I love you too. She goes, no, I can't do that. And I said, well, then your dreams aren't going to go away. I said, but if you do that, they will go away, and you're going to see a big difference in your life. So for 2 weeks, the phone doesn't ring. Linda doesn't call, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she's either passed out in a corner from lack of sleep or something. And then the phone finally rings, and it's Linda, and she says, you'll not believe this, but the next night, I had the dream, and there was the knock at the door. And my husband stood up, and I said, no, I will get it. And she said, I walked across the room. She said, I thought it was going to take forever. And I opened the door. And when I did, my father stepped into the room and said, Linda, I love you. And she said, Kat, I couldn't believe it. I threw my arms around his neck. And I said, Daddy, I love you too. And he disappeared. She said, I feel better than I have felt in years. I'm happy. My husband's seen a change. We've stopped talking divorce, and I've been getting great sleep at night. And she says, you know what? When I think about it now, I realize my dad was just human when he was alive, and he made mistakes, and I needed to get over that. And she said, so now I feel wonderful. And that's where a lucid dream, changing that ending, can change your life for the better forever.
Forever. Yeah, and that's, you know, and part of that story you shared was forgiveness. She was not forgiving her dad. She was blaming him for not being around when she was growing up. And once she released that, she took the weight off her shoulders.
Exactly.
You know, it was complete. The circle was complete. And this is where, you know, it's a frequency, as I call it. You know, now we have digital radios, but I remember the old radios where you had to line up the band, you know, to get the frequency. And I think it's the same thing in the law of attraction. When we get messages from our guides, we have to line up and be on that same frequency for it to manifest.
Yes.
For it to come together.
Yes.
But we have to do our part.
Exactly. We have to do our part. And another thing to remember from the stream as well is, and you were alluding to this, is how when our parents are alive, sometimes because they're human, they don't understand they're making mistakes. They're dealing with their own internal issues. And in order for her father to come back into her dreams like that in a visitation, he has to get permission from the other side. And maybe the reason he didn't have permission until then is because now she was really in crisis. Her health was an issue. Her marriage was an issue. Her happiness was an issue. Sleep deprivation is nothing to, you know, that's serious. And also, her father had had time to work with his guides on the other side. And he probably said, you know, I'd never realized the impact I was having on my child when I was doing what I was doing on the earth plane. Please let me go back and just tell her I love her. That's all I'll do, is just knock on the door. Somebody must answer the door. If nobody answered that door, Alex, it would not have opened. The permission that she gave, and her husband, who was actually a part of herself too in the dream, was that they opened the door. And so, again, with this visitation, it was a way of saying love survives everything, even death.
Yes. Yeah, and that, he wanted to have closure. And once she gave the permission and she released, and, it came full circle.
It was magic.
Yeah, so it was great. So I know, Kat, you're doing a lot of good work. You have your book out. You're doing some other books. So if you could tell us a little bit about, what you're doing now. Who is Kat now after going through, surviving cancer 3 times and, listening, following your intuition, going to bed with intention, meditating, praying, all these things that you do so that you could open yourself up to get the messages and the guidance that is out there for you, but you have to open the door. You're the one who have to take that action.
Exactly.
So if you could share with us a little bit, what are you doing now in terms of your radio show and all the things you're doing to give back and help people who might be on the same journey as you or have different challenges, but they could learn from your wisdoms and some of the nuggets that you could share with them.
Well, thank you, Alex. Yes, the universe was so good to me by allowing me to survive 3 cancers that one of the things I did right away was I became a phone counselor for the RA Block Cancer Foundation. So when they have hotline, it's called a hotline counselor, and when these women are first diagnosed and they don't know what to do, they don't know who to talk to, they need another person who has gone through it and survived it to reassure them you're going to be okay.
Right.
And so I'm one of their hotline counselors because I counseled the recurrent breast cancer callers who call in. I also blog all over the place. Breast Cancer Yoga is one of my blog sites. Plum is a magazine for survivors. You can find all of these online. Or you can go to my website, which is www.survivingcancerland, just like Alice in Wonderland, survivingcancerland.com. And all the places that I blog, all the magazines that I write articles for. I'm a columnist with Cape Women Online magazine, and also Women Wellness 40 and Over. I'm one of their dream columnists. And I just finished talking to doctors from around the world up at Berkeley, California, at the IASD, which is the International Association for the Study of Dreams. And my topic was dreams that diagnose breast cancer.
Right.
And I was working with a Dr. Larry Burke, and he has 20 other breast cancer survivors that he's working with who found out about their cancer in dreams. Their dreams diagnosed the cancer before the doctors. So it's not just me. There's a lot of us around the world. And, I'd love to hear from you. Email me, catcan@comcast.net, and tell me, yes, I knew my cancer was there in my dreams, because we're trying to get the information out to the world.
Exactly.
Your dreams can save your life. Everything dreams. Everyone dreams. Some dreams save lives.
Some dreams save lives. So you want to tell us a little bit about your radio show and some of the things you
Well, I have the Doctors In on Tuesday nights, and it's from 4 to 6 Pacific time, 7 to 9 Eastern Standard Time, and we speak with doctors about cutting-edge medical science, all of everything medical. And then on Wednesdays we have Your Life and Purpose Revealed, and again that's from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific time, which is 7 to 9 Eastern Standard Time. We have a guest on who talks about metaphysical healing or a book that they've written.
Right.
And then we basically focus on your life purpose in this lifetime.
Right. And you know, like you said, the experiences we have, good and bad, the crisis, it's all to lead us to a life purpose.
Right.
So we have to embrace it.
Yes.
And you know, find the information, get help. And what I love about your story most of all is how you've given back, and being with all these groups, bringing the doctors, being on the radio shows, blogging, and share with the audience, show them your book.
Oh, here's my book. Yes, almost forgot. Surviving Cancerland, the intuitive aspects of healing. And because cancer is so frightening, I tried to make the cover non-frightening. It almost looks like a children's story book. But the main story in this book is how important your dreams are. And I show you exactly how to write them down, and I show you exactly how to find the information in them. And if your audience is still having trouble remembering their dreams, Alex, and people say to me all the time, I just can't dream, go to my website, www.survivingcancerland.com. There is a free download on that page, free, on how to figure out what type of dream you're having, how to write it in a dream journal. There's a free dream journal for you there. It's just a little workbook, and it shows you exactly where you are on your dream GPS. Got a little test. I love tests. It's a teacher thing. We love tests. You need to know where you are to figure out where you're going. So go there and download it.
Yeah, so you know, Kat, has been great, you know, the information you shared with us, where you've been, you know, how you came through it, you know, with intuition, with your dream guides coming to you and saving your life 3 times, not just once, 3 times. This is powerful. And, you know, what you're doing now is most impressive to me in terms of giving back. So I'd like to ask you, what would you like to leave the audience with in terms of what sort of tools or nuggets you want to share with them as we...
Well, I'm a couple of my favorite rules for living. One of them is daydream. You need to daydream during the day because it gives your mind a playground. And we were talking about how your daydreams are your mind taking off to the beach at the ocean of gnosis, but it's playtime. And as adults, we just don't give ourselves enough playtime. And another rule is stay in the center of the path of life. Because if you're in the center, you can reach out to the people on the right, and you can reach out to the people on the left and pull them together. And that's really what we need to do. Work together on the earth plane to fulfill our destiny and not only meet our needs, but meet the needs of our neighbors, our friends, and total strangers. We're all connected through life.
And I know you, when we spoke previously, you talked about some techniques that you had. You had like 4 techniques that you share with people, you want to share with the audience?
Yes, my techniques are mostly on remembering your dreams and how to go about doing that. So if you dream, but you'd like to be able to write them down in order to look for the messages in them, those golden nuggets that you were talking about, first of all, set that intention at night before you go to sleep. Say, I would like to meet my guides in my dreams. The little voices you'll hear in the background are your guides dancing for joy. Then the second thing you want to do is remember to put your dream journal right next to your bed. Because if you have to wander around, you're never going to remember your dream. The third thing, early morning dreams are the easiest ones to remember. So as soon as you wake up, write down what you remember, even if it's only a color or your emotion. If you can't remember any other part of the dream, don't worry about it, because during the day, your daydream, it's going to open up that door and give you more and more information about that important dream the night before. And you can write it down on anything. Oh, you should see my dream journals, Alex. I have toilet paper taped to them. I have receipts from restaurants where I wrote down parts of a dream that came to me in a daydream while I was eating. It's okay. Take all that stuff, tape it in there, and you'll have an incredible dream journal full of guided information that will keep you on your path.
Yeah. And I know, in speaking, it's, some of the things that you share is, go about life in, in love.
In love.
Do everything in love. Do everything in forgiveness, and always be in gratitude.
Yes.
And that will give you the power to survive. So we're talking about cancer, so survive and really enjoy life. You say as adults, we don't take time off. And I tell people, it's so good to laugh. Humor, Albert Einstein said it best. He said, humor is mankind's greatest blessing. And some people think, I love to laugh. I laugh at almost everything. I know when to be serious too, but I just love to make a joke about everything. It makes my day go easier. I feel better. I sleep better. I do everything better. So it's so important when you're going through these challenges, whatever it is in your life. It might be relationships. It might be finances. It could be health. Whatever it is, remember to live your life in gratitude, in forgiveness, in love, and always try to have a sense of humor. Don't take life too seriously.
No.
So,
and laughter's healing. And even on my Facebook page, which is Surviving Cancerland Aspects of Healing, I have a daily giggle every single day. Because if you're going through a crisis and you laugh, you can laugh till it heals.
Yes. You laugh at yourself, laugh at yourself. And, it's been great having you on the show.
Oh, thank you.
And coming here and gracing us with your presence. I know you came all the way from California and spending some time up here for the summer. And thanks for sharing with us. And I have, what I like to share with people in terms of mindset is I have free personal development products from like legendary Les Brown, videos, audios, PDFs. It's all free. You just go to pdpowerpack.com and it's all free. It helps you to get on this frequency. So one of the things I like to do on the show is to, we have written 4 books. This one is Courage in Our Hearts, Family's Love Story. And it was written by our entire family, myself, my wife, Larry, and Charisma. The foreword is by Les Brown. All our books are on Amazon. And we have an accompaniment to it, which is Discover Your Inner Treasure. And all 4 of us wrote this one too. This is our lovely daughter, Ravina, on the cover. and,
so cute.
Yeah.
That light behind her.
Yeah, and just a couple of weeks ago, we released this one, which is IEP Goals Made Easy. And my wife and I wrote this one, and on the cover here is Ravina again. So this is our latest book that we have out. All these could be found on my website, alexstephen.com. A lot of free resources. And what I like to do on the show, Live Your Passion, is from my inspirational life quotes collection for your daily motivation that I put together for the entire year. I like to read the quote of the day. So let's see what the quote of the day is today. Do not lose hold of your dreams or aspirations. For if you do, you may still exist, but you have ceased to live. Henry David Thoreau. All the quotes on this show has always been relevant. I don't even look at it before. I always open it on the show. And so
our guides are, right here.
Right here. And it's so relevant, talking about dreams. So again, Kat, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me on your show, Alex.
And thank you for tuning in to Live Your Passion. This is Alex Stephen from Life Transforming Treasures, and you could get my free information at alexstephen.com. Thank you, and see you next time.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming, and I'd like to thank Dr. Larry Burke for allowing me to share this opportunity, and the IASD for allowing me to come and talk about extraordinary prophetic healing dreams that actually diagnose cancer. So these are my 4 rules for living a fulfilled life that I want you to take with you. Learn. Never stop learning. Exercise your brain. Keep your mind sharp. Dream. Adjust with the changing times, especially technology. Keep up. Look for information for that in your dreams. Stay in the middle of the road of life because it's common ground to dream solutions. Our dreams are like a microcosm of our life. The solutions are there. Look for them, use them. And daydream. Give yourself playtime. It's so important. And on Sadie Hawkins Day, I met my little Abner, but that's another story for another time.
Production support provided by Medfield.tv. Access to our community.